Hey, so you're thinking about moving to El Dorado Hills. Awesome, you're at the right place. We are going over the proximity of El Dorado Hills to downtown Sacramento, how close it is to the other major metropolitan area like Folsom, Roseville, and recreational areas such like Tahoe. And then we're also going to go over schools, different schools in the area, the school districts in particular. We will cover the different major neighborhoods in the area, and then we'll talk about the town centers and some fun restaurants that we have. And towards the end, we'll go into the housing market real quick, and I'll show you a quick tip on how you can quickly figure out the different neighborhoods on our website. If this is the first time to the channel and you want to know everything about moving and living in Sacramento, go ahead and subscribe below and hit the bell for notifications so you can be the first one to know about the current market in the Sacramento area. My name is Mike Friedrich. I'm with the Friedrich team here at eXp Realty and the channel Living in Sacramento. We get calls and emails every day from people just like you looking for help in making their decision to move to the Sacramento area, and we absolutely love it. Whether you are moving in 1 week, in 1 month, or in a year, doesn't matter. Just shoot us a text or send us an email, and the information below here in the description, and we can make sure that we get back to you and help you answer any questions you have so that the move to the Sacramento area is as smooth as possible. So as I mentioned, today we're going to cover El Dorado Hills, and we're going to do this in form of a map tour. So stay with me and I'll be right back.
All right, let's dive in. So we are looking here at the map of El Dorado Hills. El Dorado Hills is northeast of the Sacramento area. The population is just over 50,000. And that is based on the census from 2020. We have quite a little bit of growth. I think it looks like from 2010 to 2020 we had about 8,000 people more, and I want to say we probably had a lot more just since the COVID pandemic and the people started deciding to that they can work from home and don't have to be in the Bay Area. So a lot of our clientele and people moving to El Dorado Hills are actually from the Bay Area or the Greater Bay Area, cashing out on their 1,300, 1,500 square foot home and then purchasing a nice home here, typically double the size. So with that, I also wanted to really quickly go over the following, the direction of the community itself. You see, it's more spread out northeast versus east-west. And so because of that, we'll get into this in a little bit later in the video. We have 2 town centers or village centers, whatever you want to call it. As far as the proximity goes to the Sacramento downtown area, it's about, I would say it's about 30 to 45 minutes depending on traffic. You see we're just northeast, like I had mentioned, of Sacramento, and then if you're coming down 50 and it's not during rush hour, you'll typically get down here within 30 minutes, I would say. Worst case scenario, 45 minutes if there's a rush hour, and maybe an hour if there's an accident. You're also pretty close to the airport. It takes us about 45 minutes to get up to the airport right here. So I also wanted to point out El Dorado Hills' proximity to Folsom. Folsom offers a little bit more shopping, and it's literally just down the street. We always talk about it's one exit difference, whether you are in Folsom or in El Dorado Hills. El Dorado Hills will offer you strip malls, basic services as like nail salons, you name it, grocery stores, things like that. And if you wanted to be have a little bit more shopping, like Dick's Sporting Goods, a Costco, or even a mall, you're literally just one exit away from Folsom. And then also, if you're getting around the lake, and I pointed this out before, so we have, by the way, we have videos on Folsom, so I highly encourage you to check that out if you're considering the south side of Folsom Lake, whether it's Folsom or El Dorado Hills. I think you should check both videos out. If you're more into the northern part, you can definitely on the 80 and along the 80. We have videos on Roseville and Rockland and Loomis, so go ahead and check those out. But also, this is only about 30 to 45 minutes away for major shopping. So that's the unique part about El Dorado Hills, is really the fact that it's a smaller community, but you have all the amenities within a reasonable distance. So lastly, before we move on to the outdoors in general and everything that El Dorado Hills has to offer, I do also want to point out the proximity to Lake Tahoe. It's really, this is about, from here up there, it's about an hour and a half drive to Sierra Ski Resort and about 2 hours to South Lake Tahoe. And that will cover the proximity of El Dorado Hills to the major areas. And now we're going to dive into the outdoors, which makes sense because we just stopped at Lake Tahoe. So beautiful hiking. I mean, you talk about if you're into cars and you know the Jeep, and you talk about the Rubicon Jeep, well, the Rubicon is right here along the 50 area, where people actually go with their Jeep and their off-roads, and they go in the Rubicon and go through the Rubicon. So that's one activity that you could do. I pointed out before that there is Coloma, which that's where the gold rush started. And then we have Placerville. Renee has a video done on Placerville. It used to be called Hangtown. It's a little controversial now, so we are no longer calling it Hangtown. We're just calling it Placerville. And also, of course, you have Folsom Lake. I point this out in many of our videos, and there's so much to do around Folsom Lake. It's just a beautiful area. Whether you like to swim, boat, hike, fish, you can do it all. Of course, within the community and also around the community, you have so many bike trails and hiking trails. So there is really no shortage in outdoor activity if you're into those things. If you'd like to be more entertained, obviously you're within a half an hour of Sacramento, where there is concerts going on. You're within 2 hours of South Lake Tahoe, where in the summertime at Harvey's you have the outdoor Empire Theater, and you have concerts there. So the music scene is pretty cool as well. And then skiing in the winter, obviously we are super close to skiing. Like I mentioned earlier, it's about an hour and a half from El Dorado Hills to Sierra Ski Resort, and then another 30 minutes into South Lake Tahoe, and then you're in Heavenly. And if you wanted to go to North Lake Tahoe, you have Incline Village on the Nevada side, and you have Truckee on the California side. Let me zoom out. Oh, that was the wrong direction. And I had mentioned those areas before, but there's no shortage on really good skiing here in the area in the winter. Now that we covered all the outdoors and the recreation part, I'd like to dive in a little bit more into the schools. If you're living in El Dorado Hills, you are subject to 3 school districts. We have 2 elementary school districts. One is called Buckeye Union School District, and the Buckeye Union School District, I made myself here some notes so I wouldn't misrepresent. Buckeye Union School District is an A- rated school district. Student to teacher ratio is 22:1, which is pretty low, and it has about 4,400 students, and obviously it's K through 8. Depending on where you live in the El Dorado Hills community, you could be subject to the Rescue School District, which covers more of the eastern border of El Dorado Hills, as well as some areas on the northwest side. And that school district is also A- rated. It's a K through 8. It's also 22:1 as far as the student to teacher ratio goes, and there's about 3,400 students. Once your kids move on into the high school district, there's only one, and that's the El Dorado Union High School District, which covers all of El Dorado Hills. Depending on where you live, however, in El Dorado Hills, you may be going to either Oak Ridge High School, which is, let's see if I can find it real quick. Here it is. It's along Silva Valley. That's the parkway that it's called. And then so you have Oak Ridge High School right here. And if you live in the upper part of El Dorado Hills, which is more on the east side, like I had mentioned, your kids would probably go to Ponderosa High School, which is right over here. If your kids are a little bit younger, they are going to obviously one of the middle schools. We have 3 middle schools between the 2 elementary school districts, one of which is called Marina, which is more over here on the northern side. And then we have actually one right across the street from Oak Ridge High School is the other one, which is Rolling Hills Middle School right here. And then we have a third one along Green Valley, and if I can zoom out here, it's up here. And let's see if I can zoom in. And here we are, it's Pleasant Grove Middle School right here. So you can see this is actually outside of the El Dorado Hills boundary, but sometimes, just like it is with Ponderosa High School, like I mentioned earlier, although you may live up here on the eastern part of El Dorado Hills, your kids may go to a further away school. And that takes me also actually into the different neighborhoods. I want to just cover a little bit on the main neighborhoods. So one of the most well-known neighborhoods here in the area is Serrano, and you can see it. Serrano is made up out here. Let me see if I can get with a little bit of an exception up there. And then it keeps going here and down to the school, and then behind the school right here. All of that is Serrano, and so we divide up Serrano into Lower Serrano, which is around Silva Valley and below. And because you have quite an elevation here, if you're going up Serrano Parkway, this is, you're going from down here in Silva Valley of about, I would say 300, 350 feet to over 1,000 feet up here. And so we call this Upper Serrano. And then the other unique part about Serrano, although it's gated, you don't have access to a club, but you can become a member of the Serrano Country Club, which is separate. You don't actually even have to live in Serrano in order to become a member of the Serrano Country Club, but that offers you also private golf right here, access to a clubhouse depending on your membership. There's a social membership, there is a sports membership which allows you a certain number of rounds on the golf course per year, and then there's the Class A membership, obviously, that entails unlimited golf and access to all the facilities. So does actually the sports membership. They will give you access to the pool, the fitness club, the tennis courts, things like that. That's one of the neighborhoods. The next one, since we are already here, I want to point out is on the other side of the freeway, which is called Blackstone. And let me get my marker again. Blackstone is rather new neighborhood and has actually also an HOA, but with this HOA, right here, you have HOAs and you do have access to a clubhouse. Renee actually did in the El Dorado Hills vlog tour. She picked the neighborhood here, and I believe she was in front of the clubhouse, so make sure you check this video out as well. So since we are on this side of the freeway, we also have a neighborhood over here that is called Stonebriar, and that neighborhood is not gated. It's right here in the area. I'm not sure why my little thing is not working, but it's right here. And then you have the business park along this area right here. And then right behind the business park, you have one of the 255 plus communities, which is called Heritage here. And then along down White Rock here, you can, right here on this side, there is the other 55 plus community, which is called Four Seasons. Moving on here on the other side of the freeway, like Cresta, it's very nice. It offers beautiful views of the Sacramento Valley in this direction. And then depending on what side of the street you can sometimes see the Sierras in this direction. Really nice, and it's also mostly custom homes in that area. We have a Calithia Park, so that's another nice area. And Calithia is, I believe it's Greek. Actually, I know it's Greek because I looked it up. It happens to be, and spelled with two L's, the correct Calithia, and it's the suburb of Athens, and the word translates into best or beautiful views, and that's definitely the case. If you live in this area and you have one of the premier lots, you have some phenomenal views. And then the promontory is right here in this area, and the beautiful part about the promontory is, it's not letting me right now. You have views of Folsom Lake, you have views of the valley, you have everything you can think of, and there's several different neighborhoods here that are all gated. And then if we continue on, we see Summit Village right here. Those obviously have beautiful views of the lake. Let's see. That. And we have Lake Forest, and we have Waterford here. So at the end of the day, if you go here on our website and you go to communities, we have them pretty much listed out for you, and you can see most of them: Marina, Waterford, Lake Hills, Serrano, the promontory, like I mentioned. There's a neighborhood called Crown Valley, and the reason is because the streets are named after kings of crowns, right? And then the summit we just talked about. And since we are on this side of the north side of El Dorado Hills, I want to point out one of the village centers. So this, we call it the Safeway Shopping Center. Then across the street there is more restaurants. There is Franciscan Village, and here Renee did a little episode on, actually we did an episode on the El Dorado Saloon and Grill, which is right here on the corner. If you're into Mexican, there is La Cascada, if I pronounced it correctly. That's right here. That's one of our favorites, actually. Mars Brewing, nice private brewing company. Then you have the regular stores like Papa Murphy's and things like that. But then if I scroll out, this is one side of El Dorado Hills, so that's the North Town Center, I want to say. And then you have the Southern Town Center, which we actually call Town Center. And Renee has also been taking a video inside the Town Center and pointing out all the different things. She just found out a new restaurant that she said I had to absolutely mention here, which is called The Almighty, and it's all gluten-free. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go there, but if you're gluten tolerant, absolutely something you can do. We do have in this town center also we have a movie theater, and we have a Mercedes dealership. And then Renee, one of Renee's favorite stores, actually mine too, is Nugget Market, which is a local grocery market chain that has a little bit higher prices, but the presentation is very fancy. Then I want to just wrap up real quick. There's two breakfast places that we like personally. One is the Mimosa House on this side, and so appropriately we also have one on the other side, which is called Friends with Benedict, which is in this area right here. Friends with Benedict, it's right here. So our two favorite breakfast places, depending on what side of El Dorado Hills you end up, there is one on each side, of course. And then with that, I just wanted to, like I promised, go into the real estate market right now, how it looks like. So if you go to the Frederick team, you click on communities and you go to El Dorado Hills, you can see right now, as of today, I think there's 135 active listings. Those listings on average have been on the market for about 51 days. And the median price of those listings, not the ones that sold, but the ones that are currently listed, is $975. Okay, so with that, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate your time and we welcome your questions. So again, if you're new to the channel, please go ahead, subscribe and hit the alert button so you will be one of the first people to know about anything new in the greater Sacramento area, and in particular here now in the Dorado Hills area. And with that, thank you so much for tuning in and take care. Bye-bye.